Welcome everyone to The Howl. I'm Anthony Emme, and in this episode I sat down with Soleil King, Dani Kim, and Dani Hecht-Sander. In this episode, we focused on what show choir is, their new show, Family Road Trip, their goals for the season, and the upcoming shows. Thanks for joining, and we hope you enjoy. Hello everyone, and welcome back to The Howl. My name is Anthony Emme, and the producer of today's show is Ryan Antonucci. And we are very excited to have Soleil King, Dani Hecht-Sander, and Dani Kim with us. We are in the Dispatch podcast studio powered by Jets Pizza. How you guys doing?
Great.
Yeah, it's going great.
Just came from choir, so doing all right.
Awesome. All right, we're going to get to know you guys, so we'll go around and say your name, your year at Hersey, and then how long you've been doing show choir for.
Perfect. All right, I'm Soleil King. I'm a junior, and I've been doing show choir for, this is my third year, so.
I'm Dani Hecht-Sander. I'm a sophomore, and I've been doing show choir for 2 years.
I'm Dani Kim. I'm a senior, and I joined show choir last year, so this is my second year.
Okay, so you guys all have had previous experience in show choir.
Right.
You guys all liking it so far?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're going to go around, or you guys can just pipe in for this one. How would you guys describe show choir to people? What does it look like? What do practices and shows look like?
It looks like Glee, but a little more competitive on a state level.
How would you describe Glee to a person who doesn't know what Glee is?
You sing and you dance, and we do it for 50 minutes every single morning. So, except for Thursdays.
Yeah, that's what show choir is, right? Show
Yes.
is the dance, and then choir is the singing. So it's show choir together,
Yeah, that's
singing
right.
and dancing.
Yes.
Yeah. Choir is like a big part of our score sheet because it's competitive and it's, it really is a lot of points in our competition. So it's definitely important, the choir part.
How does that compare to the show part? So choir is more important for points, like in competitions against different schools?
At different competitions, they're scored differently. Sometimes it could be 60% choir and 40% show, but in others it could be 50-50.
Okay. And what do you guys like better, the show or the choir part?
Show.
In show choir, I like the show, but in general, I like the choir.
Okay. Dylan?
I'm really split on it. I think in show choir I think I like the show better. Yeah.
Okay. And what's like most challenging about show choir? Is it the show? Is it the choir? Is it putting it all together? Because it's a whole team thing, right? So you're all doing it at the same time, but there's different aspects that go into it, correct?
I'd like to think that the choir part, putting it all together, is it's definitely challenging, but I think the hard part is the show because we have different moves and different techniques and people are doing different things. So I think the show part of show choir would be probably one of the hardest things.
I find it really difficult so we learn the dances first, and then we put the vocals along with it, and we generally work that in and clean it and clean it and clean it, which takes forever. And the hardest part for me is running through 15 minutes almost straight, just singing and dancing. I get breathless.
Yeah. What about you, Dylan?
I think the hardest part for me is bringing it all together because not only do we have a lot of elements that need to be combined, and sometimes when you try to combine them, they don't always come together too well at first. And also that would include the transitions between each element and each part of show and choir.
Okay. So from hearing from you guys, especially Soleil, you guys have been practicing a lot. It takes a lot of time to put the show and choir together. So was from what I know, all first semester was practice and preparing, and now second semester is the show season?
Yeah.
We got comp season coming up we have a preview performance on the 4th, and then our first competition is the week after at Manteno High School.
Which is the 10th.
Okay, cool. So from last year, you guys got 3rd place at Manteno, is that correct?
Yes.
And you had 4th place at Naperville North, Clash of the Sequins, and then 1st place at the Craig Spotlight Spectacular.
Yay.
So what are your guys' goals for this year?
Make finals every time.
Yeah, just make it to finals and do our best.
Yeah, with making finals, we have the opportunity to perform again, and what we want to do as our whole show choir is perform as much as possible, and so that's why we have the preview and like the season and finals, and then we have one last performance called One Last Time.
Okay. So when you guys say finals, does that mean like at a competition, all the schools compete and then you can go on to the next round and that would be the finals round?
Yes.
Yeah. Usually it's like, I think like the top 6 schools or top
Top
5?
6.
Top 6 schools. And then last year, besides Manteno, because there were no finals at Manteno, but we were chosen for finals each time last year. So it was definitely really fun. It was really great to get the opportunity to perform again. So I hope we get the same opportunity this year.
And
Sure.
the year before, for the record.
Oh, yeah.
Mid-finals.
Okay, so last year your guys' show was like One with the Earth. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yes.
And this year it's like family road trip theme, something like with a moral on family time.
Yes.
Can you guys tell me a little bit more about that story, what that performance looks like?
Yes, absolutely. So there's this little family. There's some solos sparse throughout the show, and there's a family, and there's a mother, father, daughter, and a son, and you follow them kind of throughout it, but you follow the show choir as a whole. We used a lot of songs from the 70s, or Miss Michael. She used a lot of songs from the 70s to honor Miss Langley, who is retiring this year, her mother. And so we're using a lot of songs like Stuck in the Middle with You and
Blitzkrieg Bop.
Blitzkrieg Bop. Yep. But we changed the names a little bit. So Road Trip Bop is Blitzkrieg Bop. Anyway,
Okay.
back to the point. We kind of follow this family that goes on a road trip, and they run out of gas, and the tire pops, and it's chaos. And then the daughter's like, I need some help, and I need to reconnect with my family. And then we reconnect with the family, and then we kind of just... What happens after that? Oh, we fill the gas tank up.
Okay.
Of course.
And how do you show the story of that through singing and dancing, through like the highs and lows of that story? Is it like the type of music, the movements and choreography?
I'd like to think that the types of movements we do definitely help. Our facials help a lot. It helps tell the story. And each person in show choir has a different character. So someone's a mom, someone's a dad. Dylan's a dad, I'm a mom, Soleil's a daughter, for example. And we have different kind of facial expressions for each individual role we have. So I think that also helps progress and tell the story more throughout the whole entire show. And then we all come together at the end because we're all the same. We have the same face. We pretty much all have the same costumes. Like, we're just all together and we're a family.
And let me ask you, Dylan, so preparing for shows like that, getting the right facial features on, costume changes, the songs, how do you prepare for that?
I would say every day at 7:30, we have to practice it and look at what we're doing wrong and then fix it. And that also includes longer rehearsals on the weekend where we're able to implement more parts of our show into our practice. And every week we would learn something or do something new to hopefully bring the show together.
Sure. So what I've heard is that you guys had a lot of time preparing. Every morning you guys are working at your performance, and on the weekends, what is this rehearsal? How many hours are you guys?
Once a month
Okay.
until comp season, because then it gets a little fudgy. 6 hours on Sunday, and then the next Monday we have rehearsal for 3 hours in the night.
Wow. So 9 hours in the course of 2 days.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then Mondays, or not Mondays, but every mornings, of course, besides Thursdays.
How do you guys cope with that? Make sure like you're always like in the right mindset, positive, because that's a lot of hours, a lot of preparation. You guys are probably very close to each other from spending that much time together.
Yes, actually so close. I've made like my best friends in show choir. So I think the fact that I get to see my friends outside of school really helps. Like I see them in the morning and I always look forward to the mornings because I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to go to show choir and all my friends are going to be here. And I say that to myself every single morning. Like Soleil, for example, she walks in show choir every single morning and goes, "Good morning, John Hersey show choir." And that just like puts me in like a good mood and ready to like show choir it up. So like I think definitely the good vibes help like push through all the long hours of practice we put in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would definitely say the friendships and connections are keep us together really well and keep us motivated, because everyone's working towards a goal and everyone's able to agree upon and like see the same challenge. And warming up also definitely helps.
Mm-hmm. So you guys are a very tight group. You guys are all there for each other. For someone who may be considering joining show choir next year and want to be part of your guys' group, part of your family, what would you guys say to them?
Yes.
Please do it. We love having new members. We love meeting new friends. It's such an incredible community, and I wasn't really close with a lot of people in show choir for the first 2 years, but this year I never felt like I missed a beat.
Definitely. And we actually had 3 new members join show choir this year, like in the middle of
November.
In November. So it was definitely very kind of late because we learned a lot of numbers. But they all put in the work and they put in the effort, and we all also made them feel so included. And like that's kind of like the group we are. We don't like exclude people. We just want more people, so we include them. And we're very grateful. So do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely fun to join and good to see people join, and it's a big commitment, but it's definitely rewarding. And
Sure. Yeah. So you guys have been preparing all first semester, and the show season is here. Are you guys excited for it?
I am so
What's-
excited.
What is your favorite show out of all of the shows?
Okay. So this is gonna get a little controversial for my fellow show choir members. The seniors who have been there since my freshman year. I was not a fan of the Unplugged show. We danced with iPads and it was frustrating. And it was the first year back from COVID and it was not my number one. Last year, oh my God, that was incredible. Last year's was insane, and I am having a really, really fun time this year, but there's something about last year's show, like, nothing to diss this show. This is really good, and I'm really fun, and oh my gosh, I feel bad saying this, but there's, like, last year, we had a guitar solo from Brandon Dudas, and that blew me away. I was listening to a recording of it a couple days ago, and I was like, oh my God.
And Brandon was a graduating senior.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
What about you, Dani?
Okay. I am going to have to disagree with Soleil a little bit. I definitely think that because I wasn't in Unplugged, but I definitely think last year's show, there was some kind of vibe about it, and I really liked it. But this year's show is just, like, because we're talking about family. And, like, what we describe show choir as is one big, humongous family. And lots of judges have said, like, they haven't seen a show choir as, like, genuine as us. So definitely I think with this, like, whole show this year is going to be great. But, like, then the bonding that we put into it and, like, we have different roles, so we all embody it and, like, we talk to each other about it. I just really love this year's show. Maybe a little more than last year. But don't tell anyone I said that. That's a secret.
So, Dylan, what do you like about this year's show? I guess it's your second year show
this
choir.
year's show, I would definitely say the message. It's a really relatable message, even if you don't exactly have the best family. You can definitely have good family in the friends you make, and especially in people in show choir. And it's really special to see that we have this show to honor someone who's retiring next year.
Sure, yeah. So if I want to come out to watch, or any other Huskies want to come out to watch, do they have to buy tickets? Can they just show up to the performances? How can fellow Huskies support show choir?
For the preview performance, it is free on February 4th at 3 p.m.
Okay.
Then you will see the first weekend of March. There are going to be a bunch of signs hanging up, because there are every year, and it's like food, snacks, clothes.
Yes.
That's for Chicagoland Showcase. Tickets are $15 at the door. It is the first Friday and Saturday of March. And then we have one last time, which I'm not entirely sure of the date of. I think it's early April. We have a late season this year.
Mm-hmm.
And that one, I believe, is also free
I think so.
Yeah.
and on a weeknight.
Yeah.
And you can find more information at herseychoir.com if you want to figure out how to watch these shows. So I'm very excited to see how you guys will do this show season. That's it for today's show. I want to thank you guys for coming out. Thanks to Soleil King, Dani Hecht-Sander, and Dylan Kim. And thanks for our viewers for tuning in. Also, thanks to our sponsor, Jets Pizza, right over there on Rand Road. That will do it for this episode. I'm Anthony Emme, and on behalf of Ryan Antonucci, thanks again, and we'll see you on our next episode.